Hey guys, it's Brad and the Buff. I got my buff on my head and I am ready to go. I am doing some hot tent camping today up in the Dolly Sods. I got beautiful snow and I am just excited to get my winter setup done. I'm heading into a beautiful area with some waterfalls and I'll see you along the trail. Whew, it is pretty cold, not crazy cold, but I'd say in the teens. And you could see, I wasn't sure if it was going to snow up here, but it's snowing pretty good, which is awesome. Very pleasant surprise. I'm only going about 4 miles in to a place called the Forks. There's a really nice campsite that I've always wanted to stay at, but I've never got to stay there. And I'm just looking forward to getting out my hot tent and enjoying a nice night out. I'm only doing a one-nighter. Man, I do love winter camping, and I'm excited to get over this ridge in the woods, but it's a beautiful view from here. I'm on top of an ice stream here. It doesn't look like it. This is like basically pure ice right here. It's kind of cool. So I got a lot of good shots already, but I come out, I love this winter. I haven't done it in a while. I don't even know in the last winter camping trip I've gone, and I haven't been out hiking a ton lately, which is a real shame because it's been a beautiful winter. But you know, life kind of sometimes has a way of, you have to make time for things, and sometimes you get busy and you got to prioritize. But man, I'm glad I got out today. Once again, I wasn't really expecting snow. I was hoping for it, but this is way better than what I had anticipated. What I love about the hot tent camping is, you know, nobody else is probably going to be out here. I probably won't see anybody else. People typically don't like to camp in 10-degree weather or less out in the middle of nowhere. And it's so awesome to like kind of go wander about and come back to your tent at 60, 70 degrees and cook on it. And it's just a different style of camping. And it feels, it's not exactly like when I'm normally backpacking, where you're just camping to get from point A to point B. You're kind of settling into a spot, but I'm up in the Dolly Sods. This is one of my like go-to areas. It's in Canaan Valley, West Virginia, and it's more accessible for me. And it's just got all kinds of cool pines, good lookouts. I don't know if I will attempt to go to, Lion's Head this trip, but it's an awesome lookout that's in here. But I just like being with the pines up on top of the hill. The snow, there's these cool streams and there's neat openings. It's just a beautiful, unique area. I mean, check out, I mean, that is pristine and beautiful. I'm just so happy to be out in it, but I'm gonna keep on hiking in and catch some good shots. This is the spot that I came for. I've always wanted to camp here. It gets pretty busy in the summer, but as you can see, it is a beautiful spot. This is called the Forks because you have one waterfall coming in right here and another one coming in not quite as big, but right here. And it's just a beautiful spot up here in Dolly Sods. So I'm gonna get my hot tent set up and start getting some wood collected for the night and just enjoy being around this area. Okay, I got my hot tent set up. Takes a lot of stakes. One of the things with these hot tents is you got to make sure your outside edges are packed down with snow, because that's what keeps the air trapped in. You'll know as soon as you get in, because you'll feel it. It's drawing air up for your stove, and so you'll find any edges where you left a big hole because you can feel it, the cold air just sucking up through. So you don't need it to be airtight, but I try to get the obvious spots where I don't want the air to draw, and just make sure there's a little skirt on them, and I cover them up and pack the snow in around them. But I'm getting ready to move in. I got to get about 3 trees harvested. That's what I found that it takes to get through about a night in the morning. So I got to get my stuff in the tent. I got to get my stove set up, and got to get a few trees harvested here so that I have plenty of firewood for the night. This is what the inside looks like before I get anything set up. There's my pipe stove hole, and my sleeping bag's gonna lay across here. I got to pack the snow down a little bit more. I packed it before, I just kind of walked along it before I got in, but this is me for the night. Okay, got my hot stove set off. I like to get a little bit off center, off pole here, so that when I'm feeding it wood, I'm not dealing with this pole and I can kind of lay down and looking at it. But I just got to stake it out front. The tent's all set up, and I just got to get some wood, get my sleeping bag down, and I'm good to go. Okie dokie, got my firewood gathered up for the night. I'm pretty warm from running through the forest, chopping down trees. Only dead ones, I double checked, but you can see it's starting to get dark. So I'm gonna get these chopped up, ready to put inside of the hot stove and get inside my tent so I don't get cold. Finishing sawing up some trees. My flashlight now, with a little bit of a waterfall in the background. It's a beautiful night. I don't know how well you can see it, but I left my water bottle down for about an hour or so, and you can see it's already about half water, half ice. And so that's kind of cool. It tells you how cold it is. But the good news is I got my fire going, and I am super stoked about that. So my hot tent is warming up, and things are on the up. I got all my wood cut, and you know, just gonna get it processed, get it in there, and get warmed up in here and start chilling out, cooking some food. A little smoky in here, but I got my sausages going. I'm gonna make a kind of a little soup thing with them. Pretty comfortable in here with my fire. The only thing that's a real bummer is my my air pad ripped. When I was putting it down, I was trying to get a tab on something, so I don't have a sleeping pad, so I'm basically going to be sleeping on top of my sleeping pad on top of the ground. So hopefully that doesn't cause me too many issues. I do have some backup, you know, stuff for insulation, but I'm basically going to be like at an R1 or an R2 underneath me on top of snow. So I guess I'll just make do with what I got, but I'm going to enjoy dinner here and then probably get some sleep. Just getting up. It's about 7 o'clock. It was kind of a long night. I was a little bit chilly. My bag, because I broke it, I ended up sleeping on top of my backpack to get a barrier with the ground. You can see that. I used that as kind of my sleeping pad because it was like sleeping on a block of ice. But check out how cold it is. You can see there's my water that I had is frozen solid. I'd left it out last night. So it was cold enough in here to freeze that completely solid before morning, which I didn't realize it. Like, yeah, my water bottle that is a lot of ice. So It's cold out, but it doesn't feel too bad. But I'm gonna have a little fire this morning while I pack up and then get on out of here. Whew, it is cold. Now I got my tent broken down. My backpack is pretty much ready to go so I can head back up the hill. You can see what I got to sit by all night. Even this waterfall is frozen over in the night, which is kind of cool. But this is one of the forks I pointed out, and this is the other one. And this is just such a beautiful spot because you got these two, it's a confluence between two little runoff of rivers here that meet right here to form the Red Creek River that goes down. But I'm going to try to get out of here in a hurry because my hands are getting cold and get on the trail. But it was a really good morning. I almost didn't light up my hot tent just to get out a little quicker, but I decided to, but I'm glad I did. And I had a spectacular cup of coffee, which really made me happy. So really enjoyed my morning coffee. I really enjoyed this spot. I'd always wanted to camp here, and I'll be glad to be heading out. Pretty cool. Looks like there's some kind of prints coming across the trail here. I'm not sure if they're a small bear or a bobcat or something, but pretty cool to see out on the trail. What's cool is this was a swamp when I came through yesterday, but it's gotten cold enough this whole swampy area is now frozen over, so I can just kind of walk on top of it, which is kind of cool. You can still see it's not, well, that's because this area is in the sun, but it's starting to free up a little bit, but that's kind of cool, walk on top of a swamp. I made it back to my car. I'm looking forward to getting home. It was a cold night out, but I had my hot stove to keep me somewhat warm. A real bummer that my air pad broke immediately. It made for a cold night. I slept okay in spite of it though. I wasn't absolutely miserable, especially once I put my backpack underneath of me. That gave me some insulation from the ground, and basically any extra piece of clothing I had, I just stuck underneath of me to create, a little bit of insulation, and that worked pretty well. But I had fun overall, and it was beautiful, and I was just so happy to get all the snow and the views. So I'll see you next time. Brad and the Buff.